Hello? Surely I'm not alone, right? Yeah, the funny thing about Twitch is that if you have no chatters, it doesn't really show you any viewers. But yeah, I fix a lot of stuff since my last test. Now we can actually get to proper game development. Oh, I hope the music isn't too loud or doesn't cover my voice in any way. But yeah, here's a small demonstration what I did before I started streaming. Nope. That was my first attempt at importing the first bundle from, yeah, the ground section of the city. And from here we're just gonna expand it. There's some props here that I still have to import. I'm just waiting for the Frosty editor to open so we can start with this prop that's currently missing. But yeah, in the future, I don't think that everything is gonna be game development related. Because there's some other things that I wanna try. Could have sworn I've opened the Frosty editor. Oh, there it is. But yeah, I was definitely thinking about doing maybe Voices of the Void or cozy Minecraft streams. Yeah, because the Dreamer is designed to be cozy. Yeah, the photo structure has to be 1-to-1 because I'm using a script to actually read those level bundles from the Frosty editor. Right, I just remembered that I did what I tried to automate the asset importing somehow. Hide this one script, which... Hold on. Yeah, I basically put the APX files in here, and it gives me the LOD files. It's not perfect, but it's worth a try. It's been a while since I've used that script. Okay. Okay, we got our import here. And there we have the LODs. LODs, or... Yeah, I do suck at pronouncing things sometimes. Right. There might be one problem with these exports though. So I'm gonna double check. Hi! Hello! Good seeing you here. Yeah, there's this first problem. The meshes don't retain their material name. Guess what we could do for now is doing them manually. Life is hard and manner. Well, I wouldn't say so. It's just sometimes you get these moments where your brain just shuts down and you sit there for a while until you snap back to yourself. It's just a script that's poorly written. Well, I didn't write it, I generated it. So here we have our LODs. That means we can delete the original mesh. Something you can do is you can export these object blueprints. And something that I definitely want to try doing at some point is using a script to read all of this. And then you have the script giving you a file which is compatible with source 2. Gives you the model in Valve's format. But ultimately, here's the import process of a single prop. And I just realized I made a mistake. Exporting in FBX format always scales up the model by 100. Happens a lot of times. Yeah, so now we got the raw size and gonna work with that, and then we're gonna use this value to scale up Frostbite's scale with the source engine. Then we can just copy and paste this and add the LODs. But then here's another issue, because Blender always likes to attach this kind of numbering at the end if the mesh name exists twice. And that usually complicates the material slots here. So usually what I just do is this. Do the same thing here. I don't really have much to say about this nice thing. Well, I appreciate that you think so. That's quite nice from you. Right, the materials and the textures. The amount of brain farts that I get on a daily basis is unreal. Hey Silas, thanks for the follow. Yeah, when I get the textures of a prop like this, I just go for the default variation, which can be found here. Of course, there's also other variations that will play a big role later on. But right now the default one should suffice. Also have to make sure that the texture is the right path as well. I mean, the texture path isn't really important, I just like things being tidy. Very impressive statements, I. Truly inspiring words. What did I just do? I have no idea what I just did. I wanted to rename the material, not the prop. But yeah, as you can see here, I already did some shaders from the Frostbite engine. The thing is that you can't really see the shader logic in the Frosty editor. No matter what instances you try to add or view, you just won't be able to see it. But one thing that you can do to figure out what the shader uses is to go through all the references, see what each material uses. Like for instance, here's the first good start. It uses diffuse, normal, and RSM, which stands for, what was it? Reflectance, smoothness, and metallic or metalness. Here we have our first shader parameter, tiling. And yeah, it goes on until you eventually have, hold on. Until you eventually have something like this based on the information that you collect from the Frosty editor. Tiling, normal detail tiling. There's also normal detail strength, diffuse color. And yeah, then there's also a switch which disables or enables the normal detail. It doesn't do anything else. That's the basic shader you will find in Catalyst. Oh, this is painful. Guess I'll just do this. Wait, no. And yeah, before I finish a material, I just quickly go over what else it could be using, because we also have these other parameters here. I always have a obsession with recreating things one by one. One to one. Yeah, I said it wrong. Seems like that's everything. Now we go over to the trim here, which uses an array shader, which I don't really have created yet. Frankly, I don't know how array shaders even work. There is still a mystery to me. Let me show you a known issue with those shaders. Okay, so here we have one of those buildings which uses one of these array shaders. You can see that every face on this model uses the very first slice. It cannot render those other slices. I've already tried to export the model, like scan the model, like not scan, but what is it called? Whatever, but I also already tried giving it to ChatGPT, and like maybe it can tell me how the model is made, and if it uses any like data that I'm not potentially seeing. Turns out there is none. There's some kind of frostbite magic going on here, which the Frosty editor cannot see. But there is something here. Like there are some vector array parameters here. And it shows the slice here. But that doesn't really say anything. You know, maybe I'm getting it. Maybe I just give this submesh this specific slice. But where would I get this information? Okay, so those are the properties of the mesh itself, so I might be wrong though. Just gonna export it as a test real quick. I'm gonna try GPT one more time. Hi. Yeah, the process is quite slow, but we're coming along. Importing bits bit by bit. At some point I'm gonna attempt to automate it. Yeah, I just forgot something. There we go. The s&box logo. Because why not? I don't have the appropriate shader for this, but I'll use this temporarily. So the Source 1 engine allows you to add frames to a BTF texture. But I'm not exactly sure how Source 2 does it. Source 2 is still very new to me. I guess what I could try doing is I know that s&box usually generates those automated vtex files. And last time I checked, you could add those sequences to it, but I'm not sure if those are frames or if those can be used as an array in the first place. Could be worth figuring out. Doesn't want to show them. Did it really just stop generating those files? I don't get it. Unless I'm doing something wrong here. Yeah, those are the files that I meant. Those sequences. Just gonna copy it. Oh, I guess we cannot do it then. Hello. Welcome. Oh, that took me long enough. No, it's quite big. Set over there. Just realized I'm doing that wrong. There we go. At this point, I'm not even sure what I could talk about. Right now, I'm just figuring out what to do next. Well, I guess I could explain how these converted bundles work. So Catalyst, or any Frostbite game really, uses these levels here. They are sorted in a folder, and then you have all these sub-level bundles here. Here, for example, we have the first piece of the ground of the city. This is exactly what I did here. Some props missing, but that's okay. At least we have a proof of concept here that importing these bundles actually works. As I keep on gaining experience in this editor, I will definitely automate this at some point. Pretty much what I did here is I exported the bundle in XML format. And then you have the script reading this specific portion here. This is where you can find all the mesh data. Including the position, rotation, and scale. Yeah, converting those bundles is already like possible. I can automate that, but not the prop import part. Well, at least just yet. And then of course there's this game resource which makes these bundles actually readable. I guess I could focus on a single folder because that would be quicker. So these drops right here, these aren't going to be very common on the ground level. So that's why I decided to do them. So basically further import models from colors to s&box. Yes, that's pretty much the gist of it right now. The way that I'm importing them right now, well, yes, the process is slow, but what can you do? Like, I'm in a kind of position here where this is my first proper stream, so I'm also kind of, you can say, nervous or maybe stressed. I'm not sure. But no, this has nothing to do with stage fright or anything. So yeah, I can't really think straight right now, so I just do it this way. And maybe off stream I can prepare a few scripts that will potentially, yes, automate what I want to do here. But yeah, Blender can be a headache sometimes. Blender gives you a headache, then you need sunglasses. What do you mean? I think you're confusing a German word with what you're trying to say. Or is it the right word? I don't know. Oh well. Fucking hate these jobs. How am I laughing at them? Well, honestly, I really cannot relate. I'm the complete opposite. Sometimes it seems like my humor is just completely non-existent. I rarely laugh at this point. Even those, like, you laugh, you lose videos on YouTube, they just don't work on me. Yes, I get that. I just realized we're already at the 1 hour mark. But that won't stop me. Also, this prop is similar to the last one I did. But I'm still gonna process this one regardless because it might have different... Honestly, I don't want to sound dumb. I'm not gonna mention it. My excuse will be the 1-to-1 accuracy. And the chat broke. Does it not work at all? What's happening here? The thing is that well, it's not really that bad. There are occasional moments where I do burst out laughing, but it's one of those moments where something completely unexpected happens. Right, I did wanted to mention that this chat right here, it's basically just a Twitch chat, the default one, and I just basically used my own CSS modifications to change how it appears. And yeah, I basically flipped it so the messages appear from the top, and I guess this is what breaks it. So I guess we have to restart it every time it just stops until I figure out what to replace it with. There's something I wanted to say, but I forgot. Nothing happened an hour ago. Ah, I do remember now. The idea to VTube, it wasn't always... Oh god, it's happening again. Getting stuck trying to explain something. Yeah, I basically started VTubing because it's like, I have, like, you know, experience with VRChat and how to use it to VTube and everything. But then I also have a green screen, so I would eventually do face cams as well, but I don't have proper lighting to do that kind of stuff. Wait, did I mention the green screen? I'm very forgetful. Like, my point is, I have nothing against showing my face, like, at all. This might be a temporary thing. Until I get proper lights, maybe? What do you mean negative? I can demonstrate it. Well, a green screen is basically something you put behind yourself, and then you can basically filter out the green surface behind you. So you have this like transparent area behind your silhouette. Could actually show you how VRChat works here, because VRChat also relies on, well, digital green screens. If I were to remove it, it would just... Hold on. Whatever, it would basically look like this. Sorry if I just burned your eyes. The reason why I use a green screen here is because I can't really render the skybox transparent. Like, the Archer doesn't have a separate toggle to render the skybox or not. All it really gives you is the world or your avatar. Yeah. There's no skybox toggle at all. But it doesn't matter. Oh yeah, I definitely just realized that the music playlist is looping again. But it's not repetitive, is it? Could change to something else or completely mute it. Okay. No, it's not one album, it's... I basically picked a few songs from the Pony Sat Down albums, the ones that sound quite enough and not too intrusive. And I've only made this one small selection. I didn't dedicate enough time picking more songs. And these albums are also like the only ones which aren't copyrighted, so I can put them on YouTube. That's why I made that one joke in the diary. Horse music never lets you down.
You know there might be trouble looking over my head. Don't like the struggle, I'll pick another instead. You're so hard to follow, I don't really know what I'm breathing. There's something hollow over the edge of my wing. I see a new thing, you're telling me all of it's a lie. You have to blunder through somehow. Let me help you show yourself around. With all these colors that you found, don't you think it's hard to know what's wrong when you're still not playing where you belong? Something in the harmony, leading me round to another adventure. My heart keeps running away with me. 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 My heart keeps running away with me.
It's a shame that I cannot select this and just copy it. Oh, never mind.
Astray, could be a little higher. Where do you pull me away? You're gonna see me one day. I'm telling you, all of it's a lie.
But yeah, generally speaking, VTubing is just a side effect from all the well, the current environment or my room that I have. It's inconvenient to do actual face cams, if that makes sense. I would definitely would love to switch myself because VTubing it can be very it can tank the performance. And yeah, it generally just slows the system down. Folders take longer to load. But OBS also plays a big role here, so I wouldn't put the entire blame on VRChat itself. Oh, I already had a texture. I'm still not sure if these LOD values are even right. When I scale the model up to fit the source engine, I multiply these LOD values by the amount I scaled them. But then that results in a prop switching to the first LOD level as when you are very far away. Like, it's not even helpful. I'll keep them in just in case, so I can maybe revisit them sometime. But LODs by themselves will be very important later on, once the city itself starts to slowly assemble itself. Because without LODs it would definitely lag. Hold on, I'm currently trying to find something. Oh yeah, there it is. So before I moved over to the Source 2 engine, like I initially attempted to port this city to Roblox. It was more easier because I had a lot of experience with it. But now with the Source 2 engine or s&box, well, it's a bit more difficult. I guess it just takes a bit of time to get used to. Yeah, and that's essentially what I'm trying to recreate in s&box now. Roblox has its limitations, so I think it's worth it that I abandon it. I wouldn't say that I had to start over. I still have the tag. I know what to automate and how to automate it. There's a few scripts that I had to adapt from Lua to C#. You pretty much just jump between two languages and have to adapt to the other one. It takes a bit of time, but eventually you just get the same results that you had in the past. This was so satisfying to see. I'm still proud of this. Oh yeah, then there's these other games. I even forgot I worked on it. Fragmented Worlds. But it doesn't fit to this topic. Oh yeah, then there's also United Planet. Which is essentially just a game related to the Dreamlands lore. Still want to finish it at some point. Something I wanted to mention is that in Roblox's case, you can't really automate the props or meshes, you just upload them one by one. I'm not a fan of uploading them in bulk because that kind of messes things up for me and I get confused. And when you do the same thing in Sandbox, it gets more complicated because with Source 2's model doc, you really have to define the meshes here, the material group list, the the LODs. There's a tons of features that a model in Source 2 can have. Like for instance, you have skeleton files. Yeah, you can also have your own physics mesh files, boxes, cylinders, holes, whatever you want to do. Feet. Yeah, it's all complex. This is why it's so stressful to get used to all of this. But I'm getting the hang of it here. I don't think I have the emissive shader replicated yet, or remade it. I just know that the default object shade is completed, but I'm not certain about the others. Yeah, I just have the emissive animated one. Well, okay, let's give it a try then. Let's remake that shader. The way Catalyst shaders work is that they use the object shader as a base, and it then basically just branches off into their own variants using the object as a base. So what we will essentially do is we copy it and add the emissive features to it. Oh yeah, the shaders, that's also one of those things that Roblox cannot do. Roblox is very limited, if you think about it, in terms of shaders, and there's many other aspects. That is true. Well then, let's make a list of what the emissive shader uses. Oh yeah, you can see it again here. This is the base shader and they all branch off into their own thing. Oh hi Concrete Eternity, thanks for following. But yeah, let's get to the emissive part. Luckily it just has a few props because I don't want to go through all of them. Well, compared to what the base shader has. Oh wait, I'm looking at the wrong shader. There. So we definitely have the emissive intensity. I did have a file somewhere where I note that down. Oh yeah, there it is. That's where I collect all the variables of the shader that I want to do. And then I just guess how they work based on this information. Because again, you can't really see how the shaders work in the Frosty editor. Okay, so from what I know, these values right here should exist in it already. But I'll keep on looking. I mean, we could just start implementing this and add more as we go on. Yep, that's what I'm gonna do. Emission. I'm just gonna copy this then. It's gonna be the emissive color. Emissive density, that's gonna be float. Yeah, I could have just copied one of these. And then we have an emissive map. Although I'm not certain if it's linear or sRGB, I'm not certain. I really cannot tell if the emissive maps are colored. Catalyst. I would check right now, but that would take a lot of time. Oh boy. I don't think we're gonna find any more additional properties that the shader uses. Oh, that's gonna take quite some time because I'm really slow at thinking. Oh, I haven't touched shaders for so long. But from what I have seen is that the emissive map is not using any external tiling, but uses the one provided by the regular tiling parameter. Okay, I'm just gonna assume it's gonna be tied to tiling. Yeah, then we most likely have to do this. Oh yeah, I definitely remember now. Even though this is called albedo, it does the same math. Just basic tinting math, nothing special. And I guess now what we're left with are the intensity. Where's the multiplier? There it is. There we go. This goes in here, that goes in there. And I'm pretty sure the final result is now the emission. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no matter how tidy you want to make your graph here, it's never gonna look good in situations like these. At least in my opinion. Yes, I have OCD. Yeah. I think the emissive shader should be done now. Yeah, there we go. Just what I expected. Emissive color also works. I never really understood why Frostbite's emissive effects were always this strong. Generally speaking, all emissive materials are way too intense in Catalyst. There's some when you get really up close, you just get blinded. I bet if I ramp up the intensity to 100 here, it would just look overly bright. I've seen some materials that have their intensity set up to like 8,000. Well, okay, that looks good from far away, but if you get close, yeah, your eyes are gone. Yep. Now, if I actually wanted to spawn these in by generating the map, I would need to import, well, not import, convert some more bundle files. Frankly, I forgot what script I used to do that in the first place. I'll have to find out real quick. Oh, okay, there it is. I found it. Yeah, I'm just gonna grab this bundle here and not do all at once, because I know that my current importer script just tends to break if there's too much. Right, so now if we run the script, we will get a JSON file which will be compatible with s&box, and that will contain all the bundle data. Yeah, there it is. It's all here. And now if we pretty much just run this, then yeah, there it is, all the way back there. I'm really confused about the latest s&box updates. Like, I can't really switch back to the camera view here when I run the game. I'm not sure why they did that unless it's here somewhere. I guess what we could do for now is just increase the speed. I can't really see those prompts that I imported. Oh no, there it is. We're making progress. But honestly, for now, I'll say that this is enough. Because it's getting quite stressful. We've been doing this for 2 hours. Yeah, it's been slow. But at some point, it's gonna be faster. But yeah, I appreciate you all for staying this long. I'll see you next time. Boop.